1051.
It's Power 1051. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. We got a special guest in the building this morning.
No. You say special guest all the time. We got something different. Special, legendary,
okay.
You know, iconic.
Okay.
You know, all that.
You got to keep going then.
Sir Carter from Brooklyn.
Like all right.
Young Hov.
Yeah.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir.
What's happening?
Welcome.
We were taking bets on how you were going to arrive. Was it going to be a chariot, white horse? Were you going to float in like Prince? Like,
Or were you going to arrive at all?
I was on Pecker's back.
Pecker's back. Well, welcome.
Thank you. This is very hard to navigate.
I know you got to, you know. Just one thing we want to know, just no matter what happens in here, just don't get Charlamagne fired. There was rumors that you got Charlamagne fired one time. We just don't want him fired.
Oh, gosh.
Listen, my last name is Pinkett Smith Winfrey Knowles Carter, okay? I'm cool over here.
All right, just making sure.
Right.
Just making sure. Well, congratulations on the
I wanted
album.
them to get you a throne, too.
Yeah.
But they weren't sure if you were coming. I was like, yo, we can't have Jay sit in this chair. But then they was like, yo, he's from Marcy. He sat on stoops coming up.
I could take it back for how long we here? A couple hours.
I guess we'll see.
Well, congratulations on the album. The album's in stores right now.
Yes, and you were on Twitter last night. That was incredible. A lot of people didn't believe that was you.
That was amazing. I had a great time. That's like addictive. I can't be on Twitter. It's like weed. Like I like it, but too much of that is too. It's not good for me.
There's no way you could see everybody's questions either. I'm sure some people were like, "Oh, you didn't answer my question."
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible.
Do you know who people are? Like some of the people that you were answering, I was like, "Oh, I know who that person is," or were you just random?
No, I didn't know anyone. I knew one person. I knew G-Spin. He was
you know G-Spin.
So you actually do know G-Spin. We're taking bets on that too.
We didn't think you knew G-Spin either.
We were taking bets on that one too. Does G really know Jay?
We didn't think so.
Yeah, no, I know G-Spin. He's messing with my Cowboys. That's the only person I knew. I ain't really know anybody else.
Now I'm a Cowboy fanatic too. They always give me flack because they say I'm from South Carolina, so I shouldn't root from the Cowboys. How do you do it being from New York? And, you know, you got the Giants and the Jets. How can you be a Cowboys fan in this city?
I grew up, my pop is really my pop fault, you know.
That's
he grew up in that era. That era of those guys who, you know, wanted that whole cowboy lifestyle. All those guys was on coke and
my pops was definitely on coke.
The chair.
Well,
That's true.
I bet your dad didn't.
I got the whole thing pegged. I could give you the whole I could give you the whole profile. Did he have an afro?
He absolutely had an afro. Absolutely.
But I bet your dad didn't tase somebody at the Cowboys Jets game like Charlamagne's dad
that was
did.
my father.
He's a real fanatic.
He tased somebody at the game.
Remember last year, first game, Cowboys Jets at MetLife Stadium.
Like in this
Yes.
era?
Yes.
Like
recently.
Last year.
He's from
Last
South Carolina.
year.
He didn't know. The taser's illegal.
He got arrested.
Let him in with it. He got into a fight with some Jets
He's
fans.
serious.
He's a Cowboys guy.
He
died hard over here.
I definitely want to put that on the profile, but yeah, that type of fan, and you know, it's my pop's team, so I couldn't I had to watch it growing up.
It's gonna be tough this year. I don't know if you guys gonna make the playoffs this year.
All right, man.
Them Giants looking good. I'm just saying, them Giants looking good. We just signed Victor Cruz for another 6 years.
If the Jets win, if the Jets are winning next season, he's a Jets fan. Yeah. Giants start winning, he roots for the Giants. He's confused.
It's early in the morning for that, bro.
Now, I was shocked at one thing on Twitter when you said that Magna Carta Holy Grail you thought was fighting for 4th place as far as best albums. Because I think every time you put out an album, you think, okay, this is my best album to date. And that was very honest of you to say that. But do you really believe that? It's only 4th place?
I mean, only 4th place. But, I mean, fighting for that 3, you got to fight Reasonable Doubt, Blueprint, and the Black Album. That's just, I mean, that's just hard.
Is that the order you put it in that order? Reasonable Doubt first?
Reasonable Doubt, well, yeah, it's the first album I made because, you know, that's the joint I took my whole life to make. Reasonable Doubt, then Blueprint, then the Black Album. But sometimes I switch to Blueprint and the Black Album. Don't tell nobody.
Is it hard though? Because you're competing against yourself. Like you're competing against classics. Like, you know, you can't compare. To me, you can't compare. You know, Holy Grail to Reasonable Doubt or the Blueprint because it was different times in your life.
True. That's part of the reason why I put it forth. It's very difficult to like recreate those times. Those times was like, I mean, obviously, you can't bring those times back. But you know. Just for it to be so high says what I think about it.
What's the
but
inspiration?
It's new anyway, I might not think that way in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What's the inspiration? Because I know you used to say Big was inspired you to spit and Nas, but do you get inspired by artists now?
The era I grew up in is like Biggie, Nas, you know, Tupac. It's very difficult to compare to those guys. You know, it just is, and so I'm inspired by my previous work. So that's I have to measure myself against that. And
like, do you ever hear a record now that you be like, you know what, I'm going in the lab, or is it just seems like it's ABC 1 2 3? Because a lot of the music to me, it doesn't. I know it makes you sound like an old head, make me sound like an old head, but it just don't sound the same. It don't feel the same.
Nah, it's good music. It's just hard. It's just you got a mind for it. You know, I mean, before it was, I felt there was, you know, an abundance of it. But that's what happened, you know, when anything's successful. Like, people were rapping because they loved the rap, and then it became this, you know, huge business, this multi-billion-dollar business. So people that didn't even care to rap was like, I'm gonna figure out how to get some money in this. So you had people who could rap a little bit and saw it as a hustle. Then you had guys, CEOs rapping. You know, this is no disrespect to anyone, just to be clear. You had people rapping like, yo, you should rap. Like Big Toe Puff, you should rap. Right. Puff wasn't a rapper, you know, but he was Puff, you know what I'm saying? So, and he sold 7 million records. He may be more by now, you know, with the catalog, but he sold 7 million records of No Way Out. He never rapped before. Right. So when people see that, they emulate that. So now you got all kind of CEOs rapping, and now you have, I'm a CEO rapping. So, so now it's like, you know, it's flooded with guys who aren't rappers. So you just gotta mime it. And you're gonna mine it, and you'll find good music still. It's just you know, more difficult to find. So
Puff F the game up is what you're saying for lyricists.
Nah.
That's not what you said.
That's all you got out of that.
But I would assume that you're inspired by the artists that you sign, also. Or else why would you sign them if you didn't find them to be an inspiration to you?
Okay. That
like,
works.
You know, for
that
instance,
could have been my answer.
J. Cole, you know, obviously I would think.
Yes, very dope.
And J Electronica.
Very, very dope too.
He said he's up next too, by the way.
We're waiting. That's like Detox.
Let's hope not.
What artist of yours that you signed are you most proud of? Because you're responsible for a lot of careers out here.
You have to say Kanye West, the most successful at this stage of his career, and his growth and the progress that he's made is like, it's unbelievable. You know, like when he first came in, he wasn't the artist that he is today. You know, but he always aspired to be. From that moment, like from the moment he walked through the door, when he was just the producer, not just the producer, when he was the producer, you know, he had it in his eyes. He was saying stuff like, you know, I am the savior of Chicago, and I was like, what are you even talking about? You don't even have a single. But you know, he proved to be prophetic in that way. You know.
Now, age-old hood question. I always say that you put too much pressure on Bleak. Because early in his career, you said he was going to be the new, improved Jay-Z. And he was good, but everybody was waiting on him to be that. So you feel like you might have kind of, you know...
Yeah, it's just the little brother, like almost the little brother syndrome. He had it more so than anybody because he really grew up with me. He really grew up in, you know, on the 3rd floor on the same projects from me. So he really had it. He had my shadow on him, you know, the whole time. So whether I said those things or not, it was just there. You know, me saying those things was actually trying to deflect them, you know, trying to deflect some of it away from him. I wasn't trying to put more on him. It was just like elephant in the room. You walk in the room, like everybody's thinking, yo, that's the next guy. It's just natural.
I never saw you do that with any of your other artists afterwards. So I wonder if that was something you said, you know what, I'm not going to ever do that.
Yeah, he was just one of a kind. Like, he really was from the, like, you know, Val, his mother. I used to go in there and, like, Val, open the door and drag him out the house. Gotcha. You know, so he was a unique guy.
And he's always been very loyal to you.
Very.
Like, to this day still.
Yeah, Bleak is an amazing soul. He's an incredible person.
Oh, I always say people don't,
you
don't get
you know how
credit.
much pressure people putting on him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Bleak is busy in the streets.
You should do that.
Absolutely.
You should have $100 million. You know, that type of, it's crazy, unrealistic things. But
Bleak gets busy in the streets. He'll come see you too if you say the wrong thing. He'll definitely come see you. Not of recent, but
yo, don't pump Bleak up.
He'll definitely come see you. He'll definitely come see you. He definitely will come see you. Now, also, you spoke of Kanye West. What did you think of Ye's album, the last album, Yeezus?
I liked it.
Like,
come on, Hov. Man. Out of 10 records, I give him 4.
That's like 40% of a record. That's pretty good, man.
But he's got an amazing catalog, though. Like, he should never put out anything that people even consider is subpar.
Jesus.
Some people, but some people love that album. You know,
Yeah.
it's
polarizing, and that's what great art is polarizing. Some people love it. You know, it forces you to have an opinion. Like, you know, at least you're not like wishy-washy about it. You know, it forces you to have an opinion, which is good, and I think it's needed. You know, it's needed because what tends to happen is someone has to experiment and go do it first, and then you know artists will sit back and watch it and be like, okay, I like this, I don't like that. You know, I like this part, and they'll perfect the methods, and then you know, and it all pushes the genre forward, which is good, and that's what he does. He's like a lightning rod for the coach. No, he's actually like the cowboy. You know, he runs over the hill, and then you know the Indians hit him with his arrows, and then he comes back like, "Yo, it's a lot of them over there." And then we go over there and conquer.
What's your reaction whenever you hear him like denounce corporations, being that you are such a corporate entity yourself?
Yeah, you know, I think as an individual, I respect that. You know, it's what he chooses to do. You know, me, myself, I can operate in that venue. I can operate, you know, I can walk that line between, you know, putting out great art and, you know, getting paid for my art. I'm not one of those, excuse my language, I ain't one of those that they could talk to and be like, you're an artist, you shouldn't have money. Like, that's the gas. They hit you with that to make you, yeah, I don't want any money. I want to be a pure artist, and I don't want to have, you know, it's the music business. If that's the case, you should, any artist, not Kanye West, any artist, if, you know, they should just record in their basement and never enter the music business. You know, I just happen to be really good at the music business.
Do you pay attention to reviews on the album? Does that affect you? Do you read it like, oh, let me see what they said in USA Today? Or?
Yeah, I think reviews have lost a lot of their importance now because of the internet. Like, everyone is experiencing things at the same time. Like, you can write a review like the guy from USA Today tomorrow. Y'all both can write the review at the same time. Before, they used to give albums out. That's what happened. That's why the critic became important in the music space, because they got the music first. They would get the music 2 months early, you know, because the magazine had a long lead time. They get it, they sit with it, you know, they review it, they send it out a month ahead of time. You're reading it, you're looking like, oh, this album's gonna be dope. You don't have the music, so you're reading reviews for a month. Right now, the music comes out like this.
Right.
People are writing a review in a day. First of all, you can't listen to an album and rate it in a day. It's just impossible.
Oh, Magna Carta Classic, 10 minutes after it comes out.
Yeah, it's impossible to even get what and the nuances, all the instrumentation, all the words, what is being, you know, said in the music, what is about. Like, it's impossible to do that in 24 hours. And when I see that, I'm like, oh, so this is all just bull. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so I can't put any weight in it. You know, it's good. You review the album, it's great. You like it, fantastic. You don't like it, that's good too. But it doesn't mean anything because, you know,
we can all stream it and listen to it and form our own opinion.
That's right. You can have a better review than the guy from the New York Times. Like, I read 2 reviews. I read the guy from the New York Times, and I read the kid from All Hip Hop. They both had like interesting points of view. The guy from All Hip Hop was saying about purgatory, which I feel like sometimes, you know, it's like when you walk that line, it's like, you know, you can't do too much for this side and you do too much for it's like a weird thing. I'm in a weird space, which, you know, I enjoy. But I felt like, you know, his review was just as great as this New York Times writer's review, and this is supposed to be the New York Times.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the same thing to me.
Do you people feel like